Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And in this video, we're going to go over 5 must-have features for business Ethernet switches. I see a lot of networks that have a lot of switches that are unmanaged, that are not smart, and a lot of times we have to take them out because they cause issues. So let's talk about the 5 must-have features. These are this is the bottom, this is the basement, this is where you start. Everything else is a win. I'm not going to explain all of these things in complete detail. I am working on a video series for that. So let's get to it here. So these are our 5 must-have features for business Ethernet switches: VLANs and trunking. And VLANs are going to limit broadcast domains and noise on the network, reduces ARP chatter. We're going to be able to segregate users, servers, guests, IoT for least privilege and compliance reasons. We're going to prevent lateral movement by forcing inter-VLAN traffic through a policy boundary or a layer 3 routing device. If you're doing voice, you want a voice VLAN. Now, it doesn't specifically have to be what they call voice VLAN, because if the switch supports LLDP media, or LLDP-MED, it's going to auto place your phone on the correct VLAN. Whatever device is plugged into the pass-through on the switch is going to go on the correct VLAN, and then it's going to apply the correct QoS or class of service to make sure the integrity of voice is done properly. We want some sort of loop and storm protection for layer 2 stability. If you've never seen a broadcast storm bring a network down, it is ugly. A lot of times you go in the server room and you got nice blinky lights on your switches. I've seen them solid and nothing on the network. It's like the network completely locks up, and a loop can do that. So you're going to want some sort of spanning tree. So here we talk about rapid and multi-VLAN, but it's going to provide rapid convergence, and root guard is going to preserve a stable spanning tree root. BPDU guard shuts down edge ports if there's a switch or a hub plugged in by mistake. And then we're also going to want to be able to, at the port level, do some storm control for broadcast, multicast, and unknown unicast to prevent floods on the network. Your switch needs to have some sort of access security or network access control hooks. So it's going to stop rogue devices. A lot of times we tie the access control portion of that to either user credentials or certificates, or some sort of device identity. It's going to meet compliance and audit needs, and it's going to log everything the switch is doing. 802.1x with EAP TLS is the gold standard. And then if you have devices, printers or cameras, that for some reason can't do 802.1x, most modern devices can, then you'll have another way to authenticate those devices. We're going to want, at a minimum, DHCP snooping, because it's going to block rogue DHCP servers on your network. And then we're going to want to have some sort of port security where it limits the MAC addresses or the number of MACs that can come into a port. And if it sees something it's not supposed to, it's going to error disable the port. QoS, if you're running voice and video or other interactive apps like Zoom, GoToMeeting, all those things, when your network gets congested or links get congested, QoS is going to give you guaranteed airtime if you're on Wi-Fi, or priority on the network. QoS can't create bandwidth, but what it does is it decides who waits and for how long they're going to wait. You want to make sure that it can do trust or marking and DSCP correctly. There's a lot of different queuing systems, and we could spend a week talking about just queues and how to set those up. But the trust or the remarks with the DSCPs, that's how it knows where to go. You can actually do it for an entire VLAN. You can do it for a single device, but you needed to be able to do some sort of something on the switch that recognizes that traffic. IGMP snooping keeps multicast from getting out of hand. And then it's possible that you're going to do per port shaping policing, things like that, to help ensure that things are getting the bandwidth that they need. Observability and manageability. So when I use the term MTTR, it means mean time to repair, restore, recover, or resolve. But that all depends on us being able to see, remotely without being there, errors, the neighbors that are plugged in, the flows, right? How quickly can we manage this and observe what is going on and be able to start troubleshooting it? We also want to make sure that things are auditable, so we've got logs, backups, role-based access control. Not everybody should be an admin, right? It goes back to that least privilege that we always talk about in security. A really nice thing is if you can do automation through an API or SSH, it's going to allow you to make sure that you don't have configurations that are not going to cause you issues. And nowadays, this is often essential. I kind of threw this in, but making sure that if you need PoE, that you size it correctly and that you're sending the right type of PoE. So phones, APs, cameras depend on stable power. Bad PoE, you're going to get outages. You're going to have to, do a truck roll. Make sure you're using the right standards, AF, AT, BT. Avoid using passive PoE where it is not supported, because unlike the standard 802.3 AF, AT, BT, it doesn't send a frame. It literally just sends voltage down the line, and some devices don't have protections built in to stop that, and you could damage the device. The other thing that's really nice is if you can power cycle or control the power per port, then you can either reboot a frozen device, reboot a slow device, or cut back on power that's not necessarily needed. So real quick, not all of these are deal breakers, but you should be able to do some sort of VLANs and trunking, trunk pruning. So do your trunks, when you prune a trunk or a port, it means that not every VLAN gets sent across that port or that trunk. Some manufacturers are doing that by default. Really the correct way to do it is that no VLANs get to go across except VLAN 1, and then you choose. But there's all different types of manufacturers and ways to do that. You want some sort of loop storm protection. You need that access security. If you're in a compliance-driven environment, you're going to have that. You want to be able to do QoS, and you want to be able to observe or manage the switch remotely. These 5 basic features directly cut outage risk and MTTR, and enable least privilege design, and ensure a smooth operation, smooth troubleshooting. You can see things that are wrong before the client knows, and it makes you look good. And if you are not buying higher end switches, I would prefer that you even use smaller, managed smart switches. We've all seen smart switches over unmanaged gear in a business network. So I know that a lot of you are going to say that I left a lot of things out of this. There are a lot more. Switches can do a lot. But I think that those 5 things are a really good starting place. And if you're going to put a switch in a business or even a high-end home, those are the minimum 5 things those switches should be able to do. So let me know what you think down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links, a Patreon link. And if you need IT consulting, if you want to talk about your network, your switches, your Wi-Fi, your security, your storage, your voice over IP, and you want to do things right, head on over to williehowe.com, fill out the contact form that's on the front page, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Come on over to community.williehowe.com and join the conversation about proper switch implementation and network design. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.